Think we're live. Yeah, I'm just checking we are live. I always do this, don't I? I think it's working. Yeah, it is working, beautiful people. I'm a couple of minutes late. I'm just going to check again. I always like checking, making sure it's working, making sure everything is good, and to see if I can see the live in the group. I should technically see the live in the group. Let's have a look. I think so. Okay, so today we're talking about, there it is actually. Awesome. Yeah, I can see it. Perfect. Lovely. Okay, guys, so if you can see me okay, hear me okay, let me know. Let me know, like if it's working fine your way. Just looking at, yeah, it's all cool. Perfect. I'm liking this. So whether you're joining me live or whether you are joining me, the replay or in the group or where you're joining me, just let me know you're here and let me know that you are watching. So today we are talking about Lightbody and relationships. And as you have noticed, I've built the masterclasses so that you can see how Lightbody penetrates all the areas of your life. So obviously, to become a new earth leader, to become a leader in your space, to become a CEO in your life and in your business, we know as spiritual space holders that all your areas of your life are equally important. Because if one is out of alignment or one is not working, it's going to affect us. So we want to make sure that we are the CEO, if you like, in all areas of our lives. So, relationships. I am going to tell you a little bit my own story, and then I'm going to explain to you why Lightbody, the work itself, creates conscious and nourishing relationships, why it is so worth doing for that alone. Because if you think about your life, if you think about the quality of life that you have, so to speak, it's very much down to the relationships that you have in your life, whether that's your relationship with your family, your children, your husband, wife, work colleagues, other colleagues. Like I have relationships with online entrepreneurs online on top of my normal personal relationships. And these conscious, nourishing relationships creates quality of life. If somebody has very narcissistic relationships or disempowering relationships or relationships that diminishes you or relationships that hurts you, then it's really going to affect the performance of your life. Like, how do you take that piece out and then perform at a really high level in your business? I mean, I know people do this anyway when they go through divorce and things like that, but it's really stressful, right? It's not fun. It doesn't feel, it doesn't feel like you're living a life of your dreams, does it? When your relationships are out, or when they're out of alignment. So let me explain a little bit. I'm going to just tell you a little bit of my own story, actually, and how the Lightbody work really healed my relationships and how it just changed so much. Like, it's changed everything. It has transformed my life. It will change your life too. Okay. So I grew up, obviously, before I had the Lightbody activations, I met my husband before I had my Lightbody activations. So let's talk about my marriage, actually. Let's talk about my marriage, and then we'll talk a little bit about my relationship to my mum. So I met my husband I got to know him for the first time around in 2001. So that's quite some time ago. We didn't get together as a couple until 2007. So I was conscious before I had Lightbody activations. I was, a conscious woman. I knew I would choose only good relationships in terms of that it should feel equal, nourishing and loving and supportive. So I got together with my husband. As soon as I had the Lightbody activations done, which was in 2009, so only a little bit time after we got together actually as a couple, what was happening for me was that all the things that I didn't dare, not dare, but all the things that I kind of kept to myself, and all the things that I felt was slightly misaligned in our relationships, I wouldn't really speak up about that. And I don't think I didn't speak up about it because I was going to thought I was going to lose it. It was more like I was like putting up, if that makes sense. So as soon as I had Lightbody activations, obviously, you know from watching the rest of the trainings how it expands your consciousness, it opens up your truth, the channel to your truth. And you wouldn't, like, you know, it feels like you can't act out of integrity and out of truth anymore. You have to live your truth. So all the things that was bugging me and all the things that I felt was like, I can't go on forever in my life with you like this. It has to change. That was few things domestically, like really mundane things like sharing the chores and just sort of the normal domestic stuff. But it was also about spending really valuable time and connection and really making time for each other, which all of that went down well, by the way, for my husband. It was a little bit of a wobble, but all the things that I brought up that I felt was completely, I just knew I couldn't carry on like this forever. He committed to. And I suppose my level of communication was good enough for him to not resist the change. I came from a place of love and conscious sort of like space that he just could not say no, because it didn't come from a place of attacking the ego or like attacking his faults, you know. So it came from a place of conscious communication, and it came from a place of love and longevity of our relationship, right? And we had already had our daughter. We've just had our daughter, I think. And so he could see the value in improving himself and our relationship, because it was going to give a better platform for our family and our daughter. Now we have a son as well. So without that conversation, which was a totally different conversation coming from a totally more empowered, powerful truth place, I don't really know how it would have gone if I wouldn't have had that conversation. And this conversation continues. So because he could see the change in me, he actually went off to have the Lightbody work himself as well. It is not required for you to have successful relationship with your people around you to have, for them all to have it. But he decided that he was going to do it because he could see the change in me. So he was like, I'm having that. Can I have them as well? I was like, yes, you can. So I sent him in the right direction. Now, when it comes to so our relationship is deep, connected, truthful, transparent. Everyone owns their shit, basically. So it's like no judging, blaming, shaming. And if we have moments, it's like, okay, let's just bring consciousness back to this and see what actually is really going on. So the level of conversation that we have around our relationship and our children and the family and the future of our family is highly conscious and on a highly integrity level, which creates stability, connection, love, expansion, wealth. Like, honestly, it creates such a strong union that I couldn't fault it. Like, I couldn't fault it. It is absolutely magical. Now, of course, we have a soul connection. So if you don't have a soul connection with them and you don't actually like them anymore or something, or they don't like you anymore, and then you go and have, you know, the Lightbody activations, it's not going to probably turn into a magical relationship, because it's not how it works. But what I'm saying here, if you care about your relationships, and if you care about the people that you love, and they care about you and they love you back, and you have problems in levels of communication, and to get through them and to actually build strong, solid, beautiful, connective, and amazing relationships, then this work is for you. Then this work is for you. So that's like my story around it. Why does it, from a technical level, create stronger relationships? Okay, so we've already talked about the actual Lightbody process, what it does to your psyche, what it does to your energy, what it does to your cells. It brings more higher light into your cells. It brings more consciousness. It brings more awareness into your life and into your mind and consciousness and your psychology and all those places, which means that you don't go for second best anymore, because you start valuing yourself in such a way that anything than the best for yourself doesn't go anymore, doesn't do it anymore for you. Which means also that, for example, one of my clients, I'll give you another example. One of my clients is divorced, and they have children, and her husband is a narcissist and an addict. So up to the point when she had the Lightbody activations, it was an absolute tug of war, very emotionally draining, extremely stressful, really sort of like fight and flight, experiences in her life about him. She couldn't, like, it's a mess, like a mess. Now, although she doesn't want to go back and be married to him at all, what happened was that when she went through the Lightbody activations, she found, first of all, she was like, okay, I'm waking up. He is a narcissist and an addict, and I have denied some parts of that. Not fully, obviously, she was aware that it was wrong, but she was fully owning the fact that she had married somebody in the part, like, you know, at the time when she did, for the wrong reasons. She was like, I'm owning my shit. I follow, you know, this is what I was doing. So she went through that whole journey with me, and we unpicked all the stuff, and she, although it's bumpy, she was then stepping up, and she was like, okay, well, these were the reasons I chose him, and I'm going to forgive myself for that. These are the reasons I'm still stuck in the loop with him. I'm going to heal that. And these are the reasons why he keeps emotionally blackmailing me, and I'm going to stop that. And I'm going to own my power. So although that wasn't like, oh, let's just fix that, it took some months for us to work through these things together so that she could make the right choices around how to be around him, and then make the right choices how to feel about herself and all those things. This has now resulted in, because there was like this mess between the kids, like, you know, the kids was going to go and be with him sometimes and then with her, and because he was not responsible, then it was stressful, and there was, you know, the poor children, they're older anyway, like 18 and 15, I think, but they're just really traumatic for them as well. So it has now turned into a very structured, very responsible way from her point of view, how to handle him and what to do, what's best for the children, and not acting out of an overstressed, sort of like pressurized mum who's trying to deal with it all and thinks that the whole world is against her. She's now coming from a place of like, I have healed the shit, I am now like empowered. I can take conscious and informed decisions. That doesn't come from a reaction. It comes from a response of what is the best for the children and for me and everything else. And he's leaving her. He's leaving her alone. Basically, he's not being annoying. And there's no room for that. It's like completely shifted. She is fully in her power. She doesn't have the stress anymore. She doesn't, she's dealing with it from a place of full empowerment. Like it is like day and night, or like night and day, maybe I should say, because it was like a nightmare to a dream now. So for that reason, some people might say, well, I don't know if I have the juice to deal with it. Well, what else is it going to be? Like, are you going to stay in this? Look, if somebody can relate to this or something similar, like, what's the option? What's the option? Is the option to stay in the abusive sort of codependent relationship, or feeling disempowered and stressed and triggered all the time? Or is it now time to set yourself free and be completely in your power around relationships? So that was an example. So I'm just going to give you like real life examples, because it's almost like that the light body work expands your consciousness, and that it does transform your life. But if I give you real life examples, you'll be like, oh, I get it. Like, I get it. So let's see with the children, actually. So it's little bit difficult for me to say this with the children, because I had the light body activations before my children were born. So I've always had I would say, highly conscious relationship with them. But maybe I'll take another client as an example. I'm just going to think here. I'll take another client as an example with their children. I'm just trying to think of someone that is a good option. Now I can take myself as an example, actually, because the way I deal with the children is from a high level consciousness. So how should I put it? Okay, so my daughter, she is almost like a carbon copy of me, energetically and also in her soul contract. She has very similar numbers, and we're very, very similar. So, that can sometimes be quite triggering, because you see yourself in someone else, and it's like, oh, I don't know why that is. So because I know her soul contract, and because I know mine, and I can see where the triggers are, obviously that's got nothing to do with the light body itself, but it's got to do with the soul contract, where I can actually, from a conscious perspective, see where it's going wrong, and then be able to fix it or avoid it or hold it or whatever I need to do. That's one thing. The other thing is, okay, so I'm highly psychic and intuitive, and so is my daughter. But if you are a parent now and you think, okay, how can I improve my relationships with my children? Or just make them closer or whatever it is. So here's the deal. You obviously become, by having the light body work done, you become more psychic. Like, your channel opens up, your spiritual gifts enhances tremendously. You become laser sharp in your psychic abilities. Like, it's really, really, really powerful work this is. So you will have, as a woman, you will have a very intuitive nudge around your children anyway, because mothers just know, don't they? They just are connected to their kids in this way. It will thousandfold. Like, in the sense even that, so this is for me anyway, I just know, like, my daughter don't have to say, I need special time now, mummy, I need this. She's 13, by the way. I just know, and I'll just go and see her. Like, she might be in her bedroom, and she's like, Mum, I was just thinking that I need you. I want you to do my hair. And I will just come in and we'll just do it. It's like, she's like, how did you know? And I'm like, I just know. I just feel it. And that's magical, right? That makes me like, I want to cry, actually. That's beautiful. That's magical. With my son as well, so he's highly sensitive, just like my daughter. He's very sensitive. So my connection with him is that he needs my healing. He needs something from me every day in that sense. And he says, I just need you to clear my energy, mummy. And I just want you to, like, of course, if you're not a healer, you might not be able to do that. But what I'm saying here is that this work creates such spiritual bonding between your children. It's like, wow, how can you not want that? Like, you know, how can you not want to be able to read your children's mind so that you can be the best parent? You know, I can't see why we wouldn't. So that's that. With my mum, I'm going to take some examples with my mum. So my mum she's really, I was talking to Amy Elizabeth. She's been following me in this group this week, but I was talking to her on Messenger today. She left me a beautiful message yesterday around her mum and her relationship, you know, how they're talking about spirituality and things. And anyway, so my mum is very interested in the spiritual stuff. What's happened since my you know, my Lightbody activations and everything, our relationship has really deepened, and anything that we had conflict and problems with before does not happen anymore. It's like there was a time when I was doing a lot of inner work, and it was a bit energetically weird for my mum because I was unplugging a lot of the trauma that she had not caused me, but the trauma that she was involved in when I was little, in terms of she was drinking, she was an alcoholic. And obviously all that, when I was healing all that and clearing things and, you know, doing those things, there was obviously an energetic sort of, she could feel it. We had a bit of a wobbly year, actually, probably into, around, actually quite later on, so probably 2015 or something. But anyway, so we had a bit of a wobbly time there. She was also very influenced by her husband at the time, her late husband. And anyway, that cleared up. It was worth everything. It was worth every single thing that I did. And since then, we never had a bad relationship before that. But since then, it is very, very deep, strong. She's very interested in this work that I do. She loves all of it. She has some healing as well. She had a fall in April before she came here, and she came here and I healed, you know, I healed her. I took the shock out of her body. Her soul was actually popped out of her body because she was so in shock. So we did that. She let me heal her. She doesn't ask me that, you know, there's no pressure or anything, but so we've done that, which has been absolutely magical. I've done other pieces for her as well that she, you know, she really loves. I used to do it on my dad as well before he died. And actually, because of this work, you know, I was so plugged into everything. So when he was actually passing away, which was in 2017, I woke up really early that morning and I could feel in my energy that he was passing. So I opened up for healing, and I was actually doing healing on him while he was passing over. That was pretty big for me. That was pretty big for me. And of course, that's my story and that's my journey, and that's how I have, you know, been using this work. But I believe that without the Lightbody work and without that, you know, extraordinary connection that this work creates, probably I'd feel scared maybe to do it, or maybe I wouldn't feel like it was in my place or something like that. But it was like a magical, although it was a terrible time, so my eyes are itching, it was absolutely magical because I was actually holding space for him when he passed over. And I remember thinking, why is it so calm? I actually didn't know. I knew he was really sick, but I actually intuitively didn't pick it up that he was passing over. I thought he was just sleeping. And I was in the session, and when I was closing my eyes, I can see all the angels around him. And it was such a high vibrational space we were in together that I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Normally in my healing sessions, I'm not so divine, like they are divine, obviously, but this was like heaven. I was like, what is going on? And I did a healing on him, and there was some stress, and there were some things that I can't remember exactly the different charts that I was doing on him, but I was doing it. And then, of course, I got the phone call like an hour later that he had passed. Like it blew my mind, basically. Obviously, this is my story, and there's no promises about, things like this, to do the work. But what I'm saying here is that it gives you such spiritual empowerment in your relationships that it's priceless, really. It's priceless. Right. So I'm going to pull this one to an end. I'm back in half an hour, and I'm going to talk about Lightbody and innovation. And today is the last day of the masterclasses, and I've been speaking to some of the members of this group, and I know you're going to catch up at the weekend. Some people have been catching up on them already. There's quite a few conversations about people wanting to join the 20th of September Lightbody group that I'm starting. And I will probably do like a Q&A or something next week when everyone's had time to catch up on the replays over the weekend. And I am so excited. Like, I am so excited to start this Lightbody group. It's not just for the sake of like helping, healing and elevating and activating and, supporting you, but also yet again, another milestone is coming into place for my vision that I see for humanity. This is a vision that I have for humanity. It's a vision that I have for not just for this group, it's a vision I have for the world. So it feels exciting. So to be a part of this group, consider yourself, like, it really is a big moment. You might not realize how big moment that is for me, but you are a part of a huge, huge moment and a huge shift in time, and a huge shift in this work. So you should be proud of yourself, like joining the group, and feel really, I'm not asking you to feel grateful and humble and all that, but you will feel that. I know you will feel that. I know you'll feel grateful and humble to be a part of it, because it is a part of something much bigger than us, really. All right. So I'll see you at 1 o'clock, and the way to apply for the group is to click on the link below, which is booking a call with me. Okay. That's the way to be a part of the group. So if you haven't booked your call yet, click the link below on this video, or above probably is actually, and book the call with me. Okay. We start on the 20th of September. Send you lots of love. See you in 30 minutes.